What's up, YouTube? Shawn DaGamer here, and instead of giving you guys another frustrated raw rant, I'm recording this early Tuesday morning. And before I start, like I said in some previous videos, my grandmother is in the hospital right now, and luckily, since I don't have my car, since it's in the shop, like I said, 2017 is kicking my ass. Since the car's in the shop, the hospital that she's currently in is just like literally a walk up the street. So me and my mom are planning on walking up there a little bit later. But you guys don't want to hear all the sad stuff. You guys want to hear about the UK tournament, and not even like the second round results and things like that. Just my thoughts on the overall experience and some of my standouts and favorites in this tournament, and who I would love to see. They're all got contracts, but like on the main roster in NXT and things like that. So let's jump into this. We all know about Tyler Bates. We all know about Pete Dunne, the two finalists of this tournament. Pete Dunne came in with the biggest name out of most of the people in this tournament, other than probably Mandrews and Joseph Connors as singles competitors. Of course, you had Tyler Bates and Trent Seven of Mustache Mountain. You also had guys like Wolfgang, but a lot of like the other three people have a little bit more exposure. Like I said, Mandrews, Connors, and Dunn. Those three people, in my opinion, a lot of people probably didn't even know who Joseph Connors was from crowd reactions and things like that. But like I said, I've been watching some WCPW over the past couple of months, so I know who Joseph Connors is, and he was my pick to win the whole thing. Just personal pick. I knew he probably wasn't going to win, and he did go out in the second round to Andrews in a very good match to start off the second round. I think it was the second match of the night 2 tournaments. So Mandrews did go over, and Mark Andrews is, like I said, somebody you should know from the independent scene, or if you watch TNA wrestling at any time over the past couple of years, the X Division and things like that. And I believe he was in the tag team with somebody else as well. He's always somebody who's people have had their eyes on, but he really showed out in this tournament, especially in his match versus Pete Dunne, and which was one of the best matches, if not the best match of the tournament, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion. Speaking of a lot of people's opinion, a lot of people didn't even like this tournament, which I can completely understand, because these are like 16 people that you probably have not heard of before. But this is what I mean. I don't say you guys, a lot of you people, a lot of these quote-unquote fans aren't open-minded enough to give something like this a chance. It's like, oh, I watched night 1, or I watched the first couple matches of night 1. I didn't recognize anybody, so I left. I'm hearing shit. And I can understand that to some extent, but at the same time, you will never understand what you're missing unless you actually watch it. And that's probably the disconnect between the main roster and NXT, as well as a lot of people like myself. We watch NXT, and we know who a Sami Zayn, or better examples, we know who a Bo Dallas is, we know who a Tyler Breeze is, and things like that. So it was just kind of interesting to hear that a lot of people either did not watch the tournament according to some polls on, I guess, WWE Network, and just listening to the fans and the comments, and listening to people like Solid Monster and a couple other people who talked to people about this. They didn't like it, or they didn't like it just because they didn't recognize any of the names. But that's the whole point of this tournament, is to help give you more exposure, and I think it really did if you actually took the time to watch and enjoy this tournament. So I talked about I talked about Mandrews. If you thought Mandrews just pulled out a lot of good stuff in this match, it was in this tournament, he really did impress the crowd, and he showed himself off in a great way. Mark Andrews, especially coming in being a predominantly TNA guy over the past couple of years. I know he's done some other like I said, independent stuff, but for predominantly being a TNA guy, and the rumors and the perception that TNA guys, have to rub the stink off of them before you can actually do something with them. He really did show, and this whole tournament showcased the difference between a Triple H WWE production and a Vince McMahon, Kevin Dunn WWE production, in which Michael Cole himself was actually he sounded like he was happy to be there, like he was enthralled to actually call the commentary alongside Nigel McGuinness, things like that. And Nigel McGuinness, you know, I haven't heard his commentary too much before. I've heard a little bit of him in the past, but him and Michael Cole had a nice little gel. They did kind of overtalk each other sometimes, but it was more like casual conversation over talking instead of trying to prove somebody wrong over talking like we normally see on Raw and SmackDown to some extent. Some more people that really impressed me in this tournament. Like I said, Joseph Connors, one of my favorites going into this, WCPW guy, former WCPW champion. I don't think he had as good of a showing as he could have. I believe they flipped the coin, and it was either Pete Dunne or Joseph Connors who was going to be the breakout heel, and I believe Pete Dunne won. I do agree with the decision of putting Pete Dunne in the finals as a heel over Connors, because Pete Dunne just looks like an asshole altogether, and the bruiserweight gimmick and all that stuff. We'll talk about Pete Dunne a little bit more later in this tournament, because I feel like he's a much needed addition to the cruiserweight division. Like, if they didn't get a Neville, Pete Dunne would have been a great heel to freshen up the cruiserweight division. Who else are some people that really impressed me? Wolfgang oppressed a lot of people. One of the older statesmen of the tournament, a lot of experience. Around the 125 mark, we could just move like nothing. Did moonsaults from the guardrail to people. Popped his knee one good time, but he still worked a good matches. He did a lot of good ring psychology in his match against Tyler Bates, even though that match he had was kind of short, probably because of the injury he had to his knee. But it was moments in this match where Tyler Bates becoming just over. Every time that man was on the screen, he just got more over. Like, just waving. You know, he was just this young 19-year-old kid doing amazing things, being able to hit the Tiger Driver 97 on somebody Wolfgang's size. And like I was saying earlier, Wolfgang played a great antagonist, not necessarily a heel, but a great antagonist, trying to get Tyler Bates to focus. Tyler Bates, the crowd, the adulation of the crowd was starting to, I guess, get to his head, and Wolfgang was like, look, don't listen to them, you listen to me. They can't help you right now. You're in the ring with me, so you need to do this. I will kill you if you're not ready. So I love that dynamic, not being a heel, but just like, look, this is serious. This is not about them. This is about the tournament. This is about being the first ever UK champion. So at the end of the match, Wolfgang, Tyler Bates, they had a nice little handshake shine of respect, this little sign of respect. I guess you can say shine of respect, whatever. Anyways, another person that probably stood out, probably in a different way, is a Jordan Devlin, Finn Balor's protege. He looks like an evil Finn Balor. Like, I know Finn Balor can work heel and things like that, but I'm just saying, like, evil Finn Balor, like, mustache twirling Finn Balor. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know his appeal in his respective company that he normally works for, like if he's normally a heel or people just perceive him as a heel after the first round, and how that went off with the I'm not gonna call it a botch, with the incident that happened in his first match against Danny Burch. So, but Devlin, he did play a decent heel. It was just fun watching him react to the crowd and things like that. I think in the match that he lost against Tyler Bates, he went for like 3 moonsaults. All the times got distracted because of the fans. So I would love to see a Jordan Devlin in 205 too. Just another name to freshen up the division. Am I missing anybody other than Tyson T-Bone? Wolfgang's first round opponent. Why are we talking about him? Because he had a great look. He had a very different look to him. A lot of people compare him to Kano from Mortal Kombat. So he had a very good look. His promo when he was backstage before his match in the first round, I believe, it was a little bit rushed. He didn't stumble over his words or anything, but the promo felt rushed. So I feel like if you give him enough time and things like that, he can get over with the crowd as a heel, maybe in NXT or something like that. Along with Wolfgang, a lot of these people I feel like would be great additions to certain divisions. Like Wolfgang will be Wolfgang, Tyson T-Bone, Mark Andrews will all be great additions. Oh, and Jordan Devlin will be great additions to like the respective NXT and cruiserweights, and Joseph Connors. Joseph Connors he can go either way because of his height. So you can put him on the NXT or you can put him on 205 Live, and I believe, especially put somebody like a Joseph Connors in the 205 Live, just because of the weight limit thing. That'd be like a great addition to give a spice of difference to that cruiserweight division. Instead of like having like these smaller guys that can do this, have your cruiserweight division start to fill out different shapes and sizes and heights, and have it be more like your own version of the X division, which it should be at this point. Especially with the way the cruiserweights act nowadays. They all act like, you know, the old X division, you know, like 2003, 2007 X division. You know what I'm saying? So a couple more names, if not just the last name, I really want to talk about, and his whole demeanor and his whole look and his whole appearance it just, to me, for some reason rings at least high mid card, low main eventer on somewhere like SmackDown or NXT, maybe even Raw in the near future, and that is Trent Seven. Trent Seven just has that look about him where it's like, and his appeal to the crowd, like if you go watch his match before he took on Wolfgang, it's just the mustache, like the mustache twirling. He just has the look, like, I gotta put this, like English or a UK version, face version of Kevin Owens. I don't know. I get like a face cockiness about Trent Seven that kind of reminds me of if Kevin Owens would be a face or something like that. Like, I don't know, like if you like, or Chris Jericho or something like that. Like his charisma just reminded me of one of those two guys, except as a good guy. And I don't know, I'm probably like over exaggerating that point a little bit, but his look, he's the other half of Mustache Mountain. So I don't know what they're going to be doing with the title now, because like I said, I don't want to say it was negative feedback, but I don't know if the feedback they wanted from this tournament is what they wanted to go forward with a like UK NXT type show. But I would love to see more of Trent Seven. And if not, I don't know what they're going to do with the belt. Like if it's going to be something just to defend it in the UK, like maybe across different promotions like Progress, ICW, What Culture and things like that. All these other great, in like, you know what I'm saying? My words are getting tongue. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's just gonna be like the WWE's belt floating around the UK, which would be really cool. Like WWE sends a couple of camera crews or things like that to certain venues where they're doing like pay-per-views and things like that, and have like special, maybe once or twice a week pay-per-views or shows, you know, not necessarily its own UK show, but just showcasing the champion defending and wrestling the belt across the UK. So but I would love to see the whole point in that, before I was about to say, well, let's end the video now because I saw the 14 minutes, but the whole point of that statement was, if they don't really go too far with this show anytime soon, I would love to see Mustache Mountain on Raw to liven up that show. And I normally say don't put anybody on Raw, but the charisma Tyler Bates, you know, that fan adulation Tyler Bates had, plus the savvy and the suave look, I don't know, it's just something about Trent Seven that I just love. And Mustache Mountain could just like get over. I believe Mustache Mountain can get so much. Mustache Man can be more over than the New Day and Enzo and Cass, and possibly even the Alphas. I can just imagine that match. I want to see the Alphas versus Mustache Mountain. So I believe that's everything. I don't think I really need to go over, you know, Tyler Bates and Pete Dunne that much. Pete Dunne is just the quintessential heel. Like when you look heel, or you look up the word heel, Pete Dunne, Samoa Joe, William Regal are some of the first people that you're going to see, you know, like when it comes to heel. But Pete Dunne, just vicious. He had that release exploder suplex that he calls the X-plex. Dang, what's his name? His finisher. It's not the Don't Look Down. That's Tyler Bates. That bitter end. He has that bitter end finisher, which I just think is so pretty. And he's a bruiserweight. You know, he's like, I don't know, but Pete Dunne is great, and it's just great. It's just Pete Dunne is the kind of heel that I want to be. Just don't give a fuck. Just like when he did that release suplex to who did he kill in the second round? Sam Gradwell. He just tossed him in the corner and then pinned him. Like, yep, all right, that's my nigga. That's my guy right there. Pete Dunne and Tyler Bates, 19-year-old, full of this natural oozing, this charm. I don't want to say charisma, but this charm, this luster about him. Just, and he's so good, so little, so good in the ring, but so built, but so good. And it's just, I can't give enough praise to either one of those men. If you want to see their work, I'm pretty sure you can Google them, YouTube it, go watch this on the network. And it was just overall 2 nights of great action. Night 1 was slow, was predictable, but night 2 is the reason why I feel like we can trust in Triple H for the time being. For the foreseeable future, Triple H is alright in a lot of our books. Like I said, yesterday's video, or the last video I did before this one, when I'm talking about this, bracket busters out the wazoo during the second day, but it was all worth the wait and the surprise at the end. It was just really, really good. The last match was great, but I think the match that really stole the show was Andrews versus Dunne. So if you have not seen that match, please go check it out. Just a great outing for both of those gentlemen. Just really, really good. Just really, really good. And there's no more I can say about this tournament, but just go watch it. Like I said, you can kill this in a day if you really want to. Just marathon it in a day. You don't even have to really watch the first round. Just watch the second round, 3 hours or less. Neville and Tony N. Let's talk about that real quick before we actually end this off. Neville, Tony N. Tony N is going to go by the name Aleister Black once he reaches NXT. And another thing that I really didn't, it irked my nerves just a little bit, is the fact that they called Tony N on this special pay-per-view, but they called Chris Hero Cassius Ohno on this pay-per-view. Like, that didn't make any sense to me. That really kind of flustered me a little bit. Not too much to like make me say, oh, forget this thing, but it's just like, it'd have been different if they would have said Tony N signed to NXT, but he's no longer going to be going as Tony N. He's going to be going as Aleister Black, yada yada yada. And then said we also have people like Chris Hero joining NXT, going by Cassius Ohno now, instead of saying like, oh, we got Tony N fighting Neville, and you know he worked and was trained by whatever they were saying. He worked with and trained by people like Cassius Ohno. What? So like in a lot of people's head, the new guy that you just hired has trained this guy. So instead of saying, you know what I'm saying, instead of, what's that boy's name? Chris Hero, you had to say Cassius Ohno and then say Tony N instead of saying Aleister Black. You know what I'm saying? I get why they did the Tony N thing. I'm just saying in that situation, it would have been better to call him Chris Hero and not Cassius Ohno. You know what I'm saying? Because by now we all know who is Seth Rollins, Tyler Black, Kevin Owens, Kevin Steen, Sami Zayn, El Generico. We all know those kind of transformations now, but something so fresh like this, I don't know. I don't know. In this setting, if this was NXT, like if this was like NXT Takeover Dallas, or like a special appearance by Tony in the audience, and they call him like Tony in or something like that, that'd have made more sense. And then you can call him. I don't know. I'm over exaggerating. I'm over producing, and I'm over exerting myself for no reason. None of those were the overs that I was trying to use. Overexpending or over expanding on the topic that shouldn't be expanded on this much. With all that being said, if you have not already, go check out all the links in the description. I need to start getting ready to head out. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch, always linked down along with more. If you have not already, share this video with your friends so they can get their opinions and comments out in the section for that down below. Woo! Subscribe if you have not already, and once you do, please hit the little bell to be notified once a new video is live and ready for you. But with all that being said, I am Shawn DaGamer, and I